Hello and welcome to the Mastermind semi-finals with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Helen Garner, a project manager whose specialist subject is the science fiction television series The X-Files. Eleanor Ayres, a solicitor and editor whose subject is the history of York Minster. Tom Lee, a supply chain manager who will be answering questions on England at the Cricket World Cup. And Alistair Mallon, who's retired. His subject, the building of the Brooklyn Bridge. As if the heats weren't pressure enough, the semi-finals are even more nerve-jangling. Our contenders can just about see the finishing line off in the distance, a coveted place in the Mastermind Grand Final. But blocking their path, once again, is the intense scrutiny of the spotlight, the ticking clock, and the deceptively comfortable embrace of the famous black chair. Who'll survive all that? We'll soon find out, after 2 minutes of specialist subject questions and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. We wish each and every one of them the very best of luck. So, can I ask our first semi-finalist to join us, please? Your name?
Helen Garner.
Your occupation?
Project manager.
And your specialist subject?
The X-Files.
The long-running American science fiction series starring David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson. In 2 minutes, let's go. The shadowy group or consortium that led a conspiracy to aid an alien invasion and whose members include the so-called cigarette-smoking man is usually known in the series by what name?
The Syndicate.
Yes. What's the name of the limb-stretching cannibal serial killer who appears in 2 episodes in season 1?
Eugene Victor Toombs.
Yes. Which real-life quiz show host is credited as Man in Black #2 in the episode Jose Chung's From Outer Space?
Alex Trebek.
Yes. At the start of Red Museum, a young man called Gary Kane is found in some Wisconsin woods in his underwear with what 3 words written on his back in black ink?
He is one.
Yes. When Mulder is granted 3 wishes by a genie in the episode Je Souhaite, every other human being disappears when he wishes for what?
Peace on Earth.
Yes. In Little Green Men, Mulder has a flashback to 1973 in which he is playing what board game with his sister Samantha immediately before her abduction by aliens?
Stratego.
Yes. Which actor plays Patrick Crump, a man who has to keep driving westwards in order to stay alive in the episode Drive?
Bryan Cranston.
Yes. In Never Again, Ed Jurce has a tattoo that he thinks talks to him, but Scully discovers that the tattoo ink contains what hallucinogenic substance?
Rye.
No, ergot. In How the Ghost Stole Christmas, the ghosts Maurice and Lyda, who tried to trick Mulder and Scully into killing each other, are played by Ed Asner and which actress?
Lily Tomlin.
Yes. What's the name of the hurricane that brings a tentacled sea monster to Florida in the episode Aguamala?
Katrina.
No, Hurricane Leroy. What's the title of the season 9 episode in which the trio of characters known as the Lone Gunmen sacrifice their lives to prevent the release of a deadly virus?
Jump the Shark.
Yes, in Beyond the Sea, what nickname given to Scully by her recently deceased father is used by the death row prisoner Luther Lee Boggs to convince her that he has psychic powers?
Starbuck.
Yes. What's the name of the FBI division chief who first assigns agent Dana Scully to report on the validity of Fox Mulder's investigations into unexplained phenomena known as the X-Files?
Blevins.
Yes, it is Scott Blevins. And Helen, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've scored 11 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Eleanor Ayres.
Your occupation?
Solicitor and editor.
And your specialist subject?
The history of York Minster.
The magnificent Gothic cathedral that's the seat of the Archbishop of York. In 2 minutes, let's go. The development of York Minster began in 627 with the baptism of which local king who then ordered a stone church to be built on the site?
Edwin.
Yes, Archbishop Thomas, who rebuilt the minster after it was destroyed in the 11th century, had previously served as the treasurer of which cathedral in northern France?
Bayeux.
Yes, what name, the French word for greyness, is given to the type of glass that's a feature of the 13th century Five Sisters window in the north transept?
Griset.
Yes. In the 1990s, which sculptor devised the new creation frieze that was added to the arch around the Great West Door?
Young.
Yes, Rory Young. Which part of the Minster, known for its fine carvings, was used by King Edward I as a venue for his parliament in 1297?
Chapter House.
Yes. In 1407, King Henry IV sent which mason from London to take over repairs to the central tower, part of which had collapsed?
William of Colchester.
Yes. What name has been given to the 1,000-year-old carved elephant tusk, a relic of the Viking age that's displayed in the Undercroft?
Ornewolf.
Yes. In 1632, which London-based builder was commissioned to construct a new organ that one observer later described as a most excellent, large, plump, lusty, full-speaking organ?
Hall.
No, Robert Dallam. On display in the Undercroft is a rosary said to have belonged to which Elizabethan Catholic who was executed as a traitor in 1586?
Babington.
Yes. When the Minster was set ablaze in 1829 by the tanner Jonathan Martin, what was the name of the choir boy who raised the alarm after slipping on ice, falling onto his back and spotting the smoke?
Shrimpton.
No, Robert Swinbank. What's the name of the huge bell which strikes the hour and was first installed in the Minster's northwest tower in 1845 and then recast in 1927?
Great Peter.
Yes, which politician who twice served as British Prime Minister in the 18th century is buried within the Minster?
Pass.
During reconstruction of the Minster in the 13th century, which aristocrat granted access to his quarry at Tadcaster for as often as they shall have occasion to repair, rebuild or enlarge the said church?
Vavasor.
Yes. In 1328, the Minster was the venue for the marriage of which King of England to Philippa of Hainault?
Edward III.
It was Edward III. And Eleanor, you just had the single pass, the politician who twice served as Prime Minister and is buried in the Minster, Lord Rockingham. And at the end of that round, Eleanor, you've scored 11 points. And our next contender, please. Your name?
Tom Lee,
Your occupation?
Supply Chain Manager.
And your specialist subject?
England at the Cricket World Cup 2003 to present.
The performance of the England team at the 5 ICC Men's Cricket World Cup tournaments held from 2003 to 2019. In 2 minutes, let's go. Which player and later commentator was the captain of the England side for the 2003 World Cup?
Nasser Hussain.
Yes. Which country did England defeat by 8 wickets in the semi-final of the 2019 World Cup on the way to their first victory in the competition?
Australia.
Yes. Which England batsman scored 52 before being bowled off the final ball of the innings when England lost by just 2 runs to Sri Lanka in the Super 8 stage of the 2007 tournament?
Ravi Papara.
Yes. The 3 batsmen whom James Anderson bowled out for a duck in England's win against Pakistan in 2003 were Imzamam ul Haq, Mohammed Yusuf and which wicketkeeper?
Rashid Latif.
Yes. In the early stages of the 2007 World Cup, Andrew Flintoff was sacked as vice-captain after getting drunk and falling into the sea from what type of boat?
A pedalo.
Yes. Which England player hit a 6 off the first ball he faced in the final over of a hard-fought draw against India in the group stage of the 2011 tournament?
Ajmal Shahzad.
Yes. England won only 2 matches at the 2015 World Cup, defeating Afghanistan on which other side?
Scotland.
Yes. Jason Roy provided the throw to the wicketkeeper Joss Buttler that ran out which New Zealand batsman on the final ball of the 2019 final, securing victory for England?
Martin Guptill.
Yes. In the quarter-finals of the 2011 tournament, England lost to Sri Lanka by how many wickets?
10 wickets.
Yes. Which Bangladesh player scored his country's first World Cup century in a victory that eliminated England from the 2015 tournament at the group stage?
Mahmudullah.
Yes. At the 2019 tournament, the England captain Owen Morgan hit a record 17 sixes against Afghanistan at which ground?
Old Trafford.
Yes. In a match at the 2015 tournament, the New Zealand batsman Brendan McCullum hit 49 runs off just 12 balls against which England fast bowler?
Stephen Finn.
Yes. In the first game of the 2019 World Cup, Ben Stokes made a flying one-handed catch at deep mid-wicket to dismiss which South African batsman?
Andili Feflakwayo.
Yes. Which player made the throw to Matt Pryor that ran out the West Indies batsman Suleiman Ben to secure a win for England in an important group stage game at the 2011 tournament?
Kevin Peterson.
No, Jonathan Trott, which Australian who previously led Sri Lanka to the 2011 final, coached England to victory. I've started, so I'll finish. At the 2019 World Cup?
Trevor Bayliss.
It was Trevor Bayliss. And Tom, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've scored 14 points.
Okay.
And our final contender, please. Your name?
Alistair Mallon.
Your occupation?
I'm retired.
And your specialist subject?
The building of the Brooklyn Bridge.
The landmark bridge over the East River in New York City, the longest suspension bridge in the world when it opened in 1883. In 2 minutes, starting now, what natural event in the winter of 1866 to 67 led to increased demands for a bridge to be built to link the then separate cities of Brooklyn and New York?
The river froze over.
Yes, John Augustus Roebling, the main designer of the Brooklyn Bridge, was born in which city in modern-day Germany?
Mulhausen.
Yes. What was the name of the publisher of the Brooklyn Eagle newspaper who backed John Roebling's design?
Kinsella.
No, William C. Kingsley. In July 1869, John Roebling died from tetanus after his foot was crushed by a ferry docking at which landing point while he was viewing the site?
The Fulton Slipway.
Yes, after John Roebling's death, his son Washington directed the construction of the bridge but needed major assistance from his wife Emily after he became permanently disabled from what condition acquired on the site?
Caisson disease.
Yes, the bends. What slang name was given to the Brooklyn workers who had the difficult and dangerous task of excavating the riverbed in massive wooden boxes called caissons?
Mud hogs.
No, sand hogs. A narrow wooden bridge for the workers was erected over the river with a sign warning, safe for only 25 men at one time. Do not walk close together, nor run, jump, or what?
Fly.
No, trot. What was the name of the corrupt wire contractor who supplied inferior steel for the cables, which could not be removed, so had to be reinforced instead?
J. Lloyd Hague.
Yes, which company engraved and printed the invitations from the trustees to attend the opening ceremonies of the bridge on the 24th of May, 1883?
Tiffany's.
Yes, before the official opening, Emily Roebling became the first person to drive a horse-drawn carriage over the bridge, carrying what creature?
Her dog.
No, it was a rooster. When the Brooklyn Bridge first opened, the toll was 1 cent to cross by foot and 10 cents for a horse and vehicle. How much was the cost for a sheep or hog?
2 cents.
Yes, in May 1884, the year after its opening, who took 21 elephants over the bridge? I've started, so I'll finish. Who took 21 elephants over the bridge to prove its safety after rumours had spread that the bridge was about to collapse?
P.T. Barnum.
It was P.T. Barnum. And Alistair, you had no passes at the end of that round, and you've got 8 points. And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 8 points, it's Alistair. In joint 2nd place with 11 points each, Helen and Eleanor. And in 1st place with 14 points, it's Tom. So now the general knowledge round, and if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account, and the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, then it's a tie break. So let's ask Alistair to join us again, please. So Alistair, you start with 8 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. On a standard set of traffic lights on British roads, what colour light is at the top of the 3?
Red.
Yes. What informal name for the fungal infection tinea pedis, which commonly affects the skin between the toes, refers to a group of people thought to be particularly prone to it?
Athlete's foot.
Yes. Sailing, Tonight's the Night, and The Killing of Georgie were UK hit singles in the 1970s for which singer?
Rod Stewart.
Yes. What's the name of the fictional English county featured in a series of 6 novels by Anthony Trollope that includes The Warden and Dr. Thorne?
Barchester.
No, Barsetshire. Which railway station in Manchester was originally called Store Street, then London Road, before being renamed again in 1960?
Piccadilly.
Yes. What adjective meaning able to endure difficult conditions often precedes the words annual and perennial to describe plants that can survive low temperatures outdoors?
Hardy.
Yes. What's the name of the Great Dane, owned by the Wilmslow family, who is the title character of a newspaper comic strip created in 1954 by the American cartoonist Brad Anderson?
Pass.
At the Academy Awards ceremony in 2021, who won a Best Actress Oscar for her performance in the film Nomadland?
Frances McDormand.
Yes. The unit of measurement known as the astronomical unit is equal to the average distance between the Earth and which celestial body?
The sun.
Yes. What flowering plant bears the name of a young man who, in Greek mythology, was accidentally killed by a discus thrown by Apollo?
Narcissus.
No, hyacinth. A granite sculpture unveiled at the 2019 US Open Tennis Championships depicts which player who in 1956 became the first African-American to win a Grand Slam title and won the Wimbledon ladies singles title the following year.
Pass.
What word from the Latin for wash away means to add water to something to make it weaker and often appears on the labels of fruit cordials or squash drinks?
Pass.
What's the name of the Welsh actor whose roles have included Horatio Hornblower in a television drama series based on the novels of C.S. Forester and the Marvel superhero Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four films?
Pass.
In Roman numerals, what number is denoted by the letters XC?
90.
Yes. Which British Commonwealth country, comprising some 700 islands, lies 60 miles southeast of the US state of Florida and has Nassau as its capital?
Bahamas.
It is the Bahamas. So, Alistair, you had 4 passes. The name of the Welsh actor whose roles have included Horatio Hornblower and Reed Richards, Ioan Griffith. The word from the Latin to wash away, meaning to add water, dilute. And a granite sculpture unveiled at the 2019 US Tennis Championships of the first African-American to win a Grand Slam title, Althea Gibson. And Marmaduke is the name of the Great Dane owned by the Winslow family. And at the end of that round, Alistair, you've got 17 points. And next up, let's have Helen again. Now, Helen, you start with 11 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 17 points. You've got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge questions starting now. A person who has a natural ability for something new is commonly said to take to it like a duck to what?
Water.
Yes, the title of what television soap is a term for people who live in the area of London around Spitalfields, Whitechapel and Stepney?
EastEnders.
Yes, the site of the Battle of Culloden, 1746, is a few miles east of which city in the north of Scotland?
Stirling.
No, Inverness, which Australian-born media tycoon rose to prominence in the UK when he took over the newspapers The News of the World in 1969 and The Sun shortly afterwards?
Rupert Murdoch.
Yes, from 1973 until 1990, Augusto Pinochet led a military government in which South American country?
Chile.
Yes, which novel by George Eliot, published in the 1870s, is subtitled A Study of Provincial Life?
Middlemarch.
Yes. Which group had a UK #1 single in 1994 with Things Can Only Get Better, a song used 3 years later as an election theme by the Labour Party?
D-Ream.
Yes, at the Euro 2020 tournament, which Portuguese footballer won the Golden Boot Award for the top goal scorer with a tally of 5 goals?
Ronaldo.
Yes, the only 5 living species of egg-laying mammal are the platypus and 4 species of what other creature resembling a hedgehog and native to Australia and New Guinea?
Echidna.
Yes. What's the name of the largest island of Denmark, which is also the location of part of the capital city, Copenhagen?
Jutland.
No, Zealand. What term derived from a Greek word meaning of another style refers to any of the various forms in which a chemical element can exist and is applied to types of carbon such as graphite and diamond?
Heterogeneous.
No, allotrope. Which First Lady of the United States co-founded an addiction treatment facility in California in 1982 after she herself had recovered from drug and alcohol dependency?
Betty Ford.
Yes. What name is given to the tall cap traditionally made from animal fur that's worn as part of a ceremonial military uniform by Guards regiments of the British Army?
Busby.
No, bearskin. What 1960 American Western starring Yul Brynner and Steve McQueen is based on the Japanese film Seven Samurai?
Magnificent Seven.
Yes, Burke Hall, the property inherited by the Prince of Wales in 2002, where he and the Duchess of Cornwall spent their honeymoon, is part of which larger royal estate?
Sandringham.
No, Balmoral. The Russian revolutionary Nadezhda Krupskaya, who was appointed Deputy Commissar of Education in 1917, was the wife of which Bolshevik leader?
Lenin.
Yes. What name is applied to areas of ground in some Arctic and subarctic regions because they remain frozen throughout the year?
Tundra.
No, permafrost. An unofficial court that disregards normal legal procedures. I've started, so I'll finish. And is held with the intention of delivering a guilty verdict regardless of evidence. Is known by what name after a large marsupial creature?
Kangaroo Court.
It is a kangaroo court. And Helen, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 23 points. And next up, let's have Eleanor again. So, Eleanor, you start with 11 points. The score to beat as it stands is 23 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. Which home nation of the UK has a police force known as the PSNI?
Northern Ireland.
Yes, in a song written by Bob Marley and covered by Eric Clapton, the singer states, "I shot the sheriff, but I didn't shoot whom?"
The deputy.
Yes, in imperial measurements, the abbreviation CWT refers to what unit of weight equal in the UK to 112 pounds?
100 weight.
Yes, which island off the coast of East Africa was the centre of an independent sultanate in the 19th century that was at war with the British Empire for less than an hour in 1896?
Zanzibar.
Yes, which metallic element with the chemical symbol OS is the densest naturally occurring element?
Osmium.
Yes, the unleavened bread known as matzo or matzah is traditionally eaten during which Jewish religious celebration commemorating the escape of the Israelites from slavery in Egypt?
Passover.
Yes, which television personality presented Big Brother from 2000 until 2010 and was a panellist on the UK version of The Masked Dancer in 2021?
Davina McCall.
Yes, what marine crustacean, which typically attaches itself to submerged objects, shares its name with a species of goose because people in the Middle Ages believed that the geese hatched from it?
Barnacle.
Yes, the 2021 University boat race was moved from the Thames to a stretch of the Great Ouse just outside which small cathedral city near Cambridge?
Ely.
Yes, an alternative name for a type of motor neurone disease refers to which baseball player for the New York Yankees who was diagnosed with the condition in 1939?
Gehrig.
Yes, Lou Gehrig. What Latin term that translates as "it does not follow" is used in English grammar to mean a conclusion or statement that has little or no relevance to what preceded it?
Non sequitur.
Yes, in terms of surface area, which is the world's second largest ocean after the Pacific Ocean?
Atlantic.
Yes, which American blues singer who died in 1939 was portrayed by Viola Davis in a 2020 film adaptation of a play by August Wilson?
Ma Rainey.
Yes, what was the name of the former communist country in Europe where the Velvet Revolution took place in 1989 and which, just over 3 years later, divided peacefully into 2 new states?
Czechoslovakia.
Yes, which 1984 hit single by Queen refers in its lyrics to the 1938 broadcast adaptation of the science fiction novel War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells?
Radio Gaga.
Yes, what name, commonly abbreviated to an uppercase letter S, is given to the SI unit of electrical conductance?
Second.
No, Siemens. In 2018, what major art prize was awarded to Charlotte Prodger for her video works entitled Stony Mullen Trail and Bridget, the latter having been shot entirely on her smartphone?
Turner Prize.
Yes, the Battle of the Alamo, fought in 1836. I've started, so I'll finish. Is named after a fortress known as the Alamo Mission in which Texan city?
San Antonio.
It is San Antonio. And Eleanor, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got a total of 28 points. And finally, let's have Tom again, please. Tom, you start with 14 points, the score to beat to get through to the Mastermind Grand Final. Is Eleanor's 28 points, and you've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge, starting now. What metric unit of distance is roughly equal to 5/8 of a mile?
Kilometre.
Yes, what bird, commonly regarded as a symbol of peace, brings an olive leaf to Noah in the biblical story of Noah's Ark?
Dove.
Yes, which boy band, who had 3 UK #1 singles in the early 2000s, was formed by Duncan James, Simon Webb, Lee Ryan and Anthony Costa?
Blue.
Yes, which 17th century English poet wrote the sonnet, "When I consider how my light is spent," thought to be inspired by his own blindness?
Byron.
No, John Milton. The Shibuya crossing, often called the world's busiest pedestrian crossing, is an intersection where, during peak hours, up to 2,500 people cross the road at each signal change. In which Asian city is it?
Tokyo.
Yes. What was the stage name of the American rabbi turned stand-up comedian who died in 2021, aged 93, and was known for his award-winning Broadway shows such as The World According to Me?
Norm MacDonald.
No, Jackie Mason. The tarantella, the minuet and the pavan are all types of what leisure activity?
Dance.
Yes. What's the common name of the incus bone in the middle ear because of its supposed resemblance to an item of equipment used by a blacksmith?
Anvil.
Yes. What television comedy series which ran from 1982 to 1992 was set mainly in René's Café in France during the Second World War?
Allo Allo.
Yes. What was the name of the Dutch athlete nicknamed the Flying Housewife who won 4 gold medals at the 1948 London Olympics?
Shippers.
No, Fanny Blanca's Cone. What Italian term for the lead female singer in an opera company translates as First Lady?
Donna.
No, prima donna. What metal is the main constituent of the alloy used to make the 20p coin first issued by the Royal Mint in 1982 and the new 50p coin introduced in 1997?
Tin.
No, copper. Amelia Sedley and her husband George Osborne are characters in which novel by William Makepeace Thackeray?
Gulliver's Travels.
No, Vanity Fair. Which Norwegian explorer became the first person to reach the South Pole when he and his team arrived there in 1911, about a month ahead of a rival expedition led by Captain Scott?
Amundsen.
Yes, the actress who played the character Solitaire in the 1973 James Bond film Live and Let Die and later starred in the television series Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, uses what professional name, which was also the name of one of the 6 wives of Henry VIII?
Jane Seymour.
Yes, 16 rebel leaders were executed after an uprising against British rule in Ireland during Easter week 1916. In which city did the rebellion take place?
Dublin.
Yes, which Canadian actor won his first Oscar at the age of 82 for the 2011 film Beginners? I've started, so I'll finish. And in his acceptance speech, quipped to the statuette, "You're only 2 years older than me, darling. Where have you been all my life?"
Al Pacino.
No, it was Christopher Plummer.
Of course.
And Tom, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you now have a total of 24 points.
Thank you.
What a contest. Let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 17 points, it's Alistair. In 3rd place with 23 points, it's Helen. In 2nd place with 24 points, it's Tom. And in 1st place with 28 points, Eleanor, which means that she goes through to the grand final. Congratulations to her. Now, if you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
At the end of the specialist subject round, there was a tie and we were in 2nd, so I had no expectations of what was coming up.
Which metallic element with the chemical symbol OS is the densest naturally occurring element?
Osmium.
Yes.
Ma Rainey.
Yes.
San Antonio.
Yes.
My children are very excited that I'm going to be on television, and my husband's been helping me revise as well, so they're going to be hopefully very proud.
What a contest. And in 1st place with 28 points, Eleanor. She goes through to the grand final.
Can't quite believe I've got through to the final. I didn't entirely expect this to happen. More revision and more revision and more revision, and hopefully I'll do okay again.